club championship.
Moments away here from jumping into our first map of this first to two series, folks. We're on night market first here on Lijiang Tower. So there's a question of whether we see MeowGaru on this wrecking ball or something similarly mobile. And again, pretty important. These opening matches, you don't have a lot of room for error in first to two games.
Yeah, I mean, especially, right, you get into control here, you can end up with a loss pretty quickly, and then now you're basically at one map pick, right, to kind of turn your series around. So control, obviously always important as the first game in the series, but even more important here in this first to two.
Off to the races we go, folks. The mid-season championship is officially underway. Already having a look at some of these early hovers. Obviously, we know the Team Falcons have looked to try and bring much more of those Symmetra comps in. Lucio and Baptiste with Kiriko being banned here, a bit more common. But in these Ramatra shells, you can take the chance of folding the Juno in. She just tends to look a little more vulnerable to that hit scan pressure that Sojourn can provide.
And as the gates open here, Mitch, we'll see if AG.AL stay to this as, okay, so they're going to play the Moira with a Reaper. So this is like zombie comp level of stuff here from AG.AL. And we saw some of this in EMEA, right? We saw some teams play Moira, just kind of in that like bunker, you know, death brawly style. Now bringing the Reaper in, that's a really interesting look.
It's AG.AL want these shorter fights. They might go aggressive even on this defense side, lest those healing resources get teased out of them before they can put them to best use. So forward they come here. MeowGaru going a little bit low already, and it's tough for the Moira outside of the Biotic Orb to keep them standing. Not enough healing throughput here for AG.AL, and so Falcons come knocking with the Tracer in their composition. Pretty good at harassing that pretty fragile looking backline. They'll be in control first.
I think one of the biggest things there is for Falcons, you have the bat, right? So you get someone right in MeowGaru's face and, you know, just kind of exchanging punches. Someone has the benefit of the immortality build, right? You're just having that Moira just constantly just trying to heal up the Ramatra on your side for AG.AL, and it's just not enough.
That's a problem for the Moira composition. They've got to get through that immortality field before, you know, their throughput really actually matters in the grand scheme of things. Merit's in an awkward spot, but is able to transition away comfortably. It's MeowGaru getting picked off here. Falcons with that extra damage from the Baptiste in the backline, putting it to good use here. Marker out of the picture is Curtains for AG.AL. Feels like a much stronger composition in the hands of Falcons.
Yeah, you would want to see all gamers end up switching and running the Baptiste. But now you're so close to both these support ults, you're probably going to stay on this for another fight. I don't think it's going to go any better, to be quite frank, even with some ults.
Again, yeah, they really want to make use of this coalescence here, and I have to assume the thinking already for AG.AL is that they've probably not landed on the right composition for this map, but they're going to stick to it for at least one more fight. But by that time, they're going to be almost too far behind the 8 ball to have a chance in this round. It's someone commanding space in the middle of the map for the time being. He's already built up that annihilation, so AG.AL definitely have to think twice about challenging the Ramatra up front. Merit really in no hurry here, just wants to take a pretty slow flank. He's heard the coalescence go off, and now it's time to go from the backside. It's going to be an amplification matrix sound barrier. Going to be employed by both sides. This Merit off to the side, sees the coalescence coming in, but knows it can't last too much longer. Sonjun down, Annihilation getting good purchase here, but Merit has been picked off, so now someone and co have to do the rest of the dirty work, but with Proper still standing, the damage is going to be there in spades. MeowGaru utterly ignored now as someone chases down the Moira who fades away. Marker has to give up the point. And AG.AL punished for sticking to this Moira look now in last fight territory without a lot to work with.
I mean, he got this overclock, right? But who's even going to get a touch? It looks like Sunjun goes to a TP up on the high ground. He'll be the one who touches it.
Overclock now comes in from AID. Can he find a key pick? It's going to be Proper already wending his way into the middle of things. That immortality field comes up, and look how low AG.AL are. There's just not really enough throughput. They've got to have a fast fight win, and that could be a lot to ask for. Proper gets caught out, though, by a Biotic Orb that just licks him down to 0 health. MeowGaru able to command this space with an Annihilation.
All right.
Some power of ultimates here for AG.AL, keeping the round.
Yeah, behind AID's overclock, and then the Annihilation there, you're able to actually turn this. Okay, so we're going to see Venture come into play. We've seen Venture, like Avril mentioned, in Korea, and they're really good at combining with like a Reaper for a dive, going to the backline and just blowing up targets.
Yeah, Venture here for AID. I think AG.AL really want to try and find their way towards the Baptiste in these fights as early as possible, but they've lost Sonjun yet again, and someone, though, will be dragged down.
It feels like, though, that might be worth it. You see AID's positioning there. He just separates the support so far from someone, and someone not able to get any healing. He falls first, and the Venture's so difficult to get out of the fight. fight.
A decent place to take the fight here for AG.AL as well, Matt. Stick to that right side room, and now they've honestly built themselves the opportunity to develop a coalescence once more. Once more, this fast-moving brawl comp that wants to emerge in the middle of AG.AL, rather Team Falcons' setup. It's going to be a little bit hard to get early poke damage on.
Yeah, I mean, with 99 on the point, though, you're going to be able to use probably this sound barrier coming up soon, right? So, Maka's going to use the coalescence. It's going to kind of push Falcons back, but Falcons comes out on top. It's going to be Merit getting 2 kills. I don't think you invest the sound barrier here. You use the Ant Matrix, but for Falcons, they actually do get towards that point. See, it looks like actually the players from all gamers push back to the spawn, so an opportunity to potentially steal the round.
Yeah, at least it means they're going to get a touch here, but the fact that Chio doesn't have a chance to employ the sound barrier, Matt, and they still win the fight says
that's crazy.
Everything you need to know. Celebratory beat at the end there, but it was unnecessary in the end. We see a switch here over towards Adventure. Look, AD looks pretty good in that situation. Remember, it's a setup alongside Reaper's Wraithwalk. That means it's tough to poke you down before you get that fight started, but I've got some concerns about the backline choice here.
Yeah, and I think there's opportunity, though, for all gamers to make some changes as we take a look through some of the highlights here. From round number 1. I think the Venture swap was pretty effective, right? It's just a little bit too late. I mean, maybe if you had it earlier.
Moira doesn't necessarily want to have to heal your team up against poke damage coming in.
Yeah.
Like, she really wants you just to only need healing when the fight is started and you're relatively clumped together, so that Biotic Orb or Coalescence find max value. So I think it's a better look to supplement the Moira, make sure everyone is a bit more of a death ball.
Also, if you were trying to play ball, are these the 2 worst ones to get?
Well, you don't get Garden, so unlucky, I guess. But Milgaru here on the Ramatra definitely looks more than serviceable.
Yeah.
It's more of a wholesale issue that maybe AG.AL are suffering so far. And sorry, Sunjun, you don't have enough rope to get away there. Low health in the Wraithwalk.
I mean, this is a great setup, though, for Falcons, right? Someone extremely comfortable playing Ram, you have Proper playing Tracer, and then Merit on Sojourn. I mean, you couldn't get a better setup here for Falcons.
Oh, trust me, they opened the wallet for it as well. Make no mistake. And again, they had Stalker, of course, waiting in the wings there. Obviously not featuring at this tournament. I've been told that he is chilling at home for the time being. He's in a mortality field now. It's going to be used for Falcons to be able to fall away, but Chio was still caught because AD won't really give him that room to breathe. Trade those. Proper's found Sonjin. This Tracer is something to look for. Proper now coming off injury, looking much improved and right at home.
They just haven't been able to combo with the Venture. Like, whether it's with the Reaper or, the Ramatra going on in, they've never been able to make a play for that back line. As right now, the Coalescence goes for nothing. Falcons is going to be able to flip this point. And they only had to use that Ant Matrix. I mean, they didn't really have to use anything at all here. And now you're going to be walking into this Merit overclock. Could be quite devastating here for all gamers.
AG.AL have enough to work with, at least. I think the Annihilation catch is going to be pretty crucial. Sound barriers are going to be required in this fight. First, though, it's going to be an overclock from Merit. And it's got a lot of room here. Milgaru defending himself doesn't quite have the speed, but that Annihilation comes in and a great response. Speed boost for Chio. Gets everybody out of trouble. Milgaru falls, though, to the Annihilation of someone, only at the cost of Fielder, which might have been worth it if the Death Blossom hadn't come in and taken that last remaining healer out of Falcons' composition. But AG.AL lack a frontliner. The best they can do is contest this point, but never get the flip and never take the lead back from Falcons.
And that's what? Death Blossom, Sound Barrier, your Annihilation. This is looking pretty rough here for all gamers. You're still on this Moira, so now you're playing for like Coalescence here towards the end of the game. I would have loved to see this swap.
Oh, he didn't have Wraithwalk available.
But imagine if he had an Immortality Field.
Right, or that cooldown, but it was 4 seconds away. But yeah, point taken. I don't know if you want to burn that early, but yes, that would be a great way to answer a Pulse Bomb. And that's devastating that AG.AL don't have an answer for that. That's basically required reading at this point. Tech shock here. Goes in, and again, Baptista's nowhere to go. He only has the vertical mobility, which means he still gets caught, and Maka and Sonjun out of the game already. This should be curtains on Ilios now. AD really struggling to find a target that's willing to take a face full of damage, and Fielder is basically unassailable from this high ground position. Merit a little bit low now. It's going to be an overclock popped by the man himself, and AD tries to go upstairs, and it costs the Baptiste, but there's just nothing to be done. Fielder barely shrugs him off. And now Ant Matrix, unnecessary. Healing will be boosted, and of course, it's just the Moira standing. Maka will be allowed to hang around a little bit longer, and that'll be that.
And I mean, look, we have seen teams in the history of Overwatch esports, try and challenge that backline with Fielder and Chio constantly and make plays for them, and they come up empty, and that's exactly what happened with All Gamers.
Coach Sparkle looking pleased about that, and it's exactly the opener you want to see. We've seen plenty of teams work the Moira, and it's not out of the ordinary necessarily.
No.
We've even seen some teams aim an early ban at her on these control maps, but a lot of things need to go right for you. Whereas with the Baptiste, you've got some really nice panic button cooldowns, right? You know, you obviously have a nice little burst, AoE heal, the immortality field. There's a lot to offer. Whereas Moira, you're a little bit narrower. You have a small window which you need most of the impact of your team to be expressed. While that Biotic Orb is in play or, you know, within the window of a Coalescent. So tough break here for AG.AL, not the opener they were looking for, but Falcons make an early statement here. They are here to play.
No reason for someone to feel like they didn't, you know, they weren't going to make it right, or they were going to fall behind, especially with that type of performance. And I think you get these heroes into the mix. I think you're in a great spot, and the crowd going crazy with one more game. That's all we need for a Falcons win here early on.
Here we go. So discussion, of course, about our next map pick in this series. It's a first to two, folks. So again, we don't often see quote-unquote best of three Overwatch, but in these high-stakes opener matches,
yeah,
you can't really afford to. Obviously, you can't afford to drop your map pick.
Right, and we see that there. They never get the opportunity to potentially play the ball, right, if we're thinking that's going to be the case. So we'll see as the map selection and bans coming in here live, how things will pan out here. It does feel like Falcons, though, has a bit of an advantage.
It's unclear whether Jasmine is going to be tapped to sub in here for All Gamers, or Mielgari will be their go-to for yet another map. Naturally, it's map dependent. And these are only decided after the loss of the first map. I can't shush. My job is to talk.
Who's telling you to shush?
I don't know. I'm just assuming it's the Falcons fans. I've got good things to say about your team, guys. Don't worry about it.
No, I mean, they're awesome to be able to watch play. I mean, some of these players just like historic throughout Overwatch history, right?
Some!
Like
All of them,
run. Man. Yeah. Oh, what? Did I say some?
You did.
Did I say some? All right. Well, all of them. I know that'll...
And yet, I spent some time with the players yesterday, and I asked them to sort of, you know, one of the TikTok questions I asked them was to create your all-star team. Right?
You asked them the TikTok?
Well, it was in the TikTok format, I guess, by definition. It was TikTok questions. I said, create your all-star team of 5 of the best players of every era of Overwatch. So I'm giving them access to, like, Jonak, I'm giving them access to, like, those, you know...
The Boomer era.
Yeah,
the Boomer
era, the Fletters of the world. And they basically... Many answers were, just give me Crazy Raccoon. Yeah, with either of the tanks.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And that should tell you everything you need to know. The game has evolved drastically since those very early years of the Overwatch League, and yet, you know, Crazy Raccoon are one team that's expressing just some of the greatest skill we've maybe ever seen across the game.
I'm surprised you didn't show them any of your famous TikTok dances.
Oh, no, I did.
Oh.
I
can't wait for that.
I don't know if they made the final cut, though.
Right.
Yeah. I did ask Elysium to do one with me, but, yeah, no.
It doesn't sound like it worked out.
No, it wasn't about it.
Yeah, I mean, this era of Overwatch, just as a whole, right? Even with the players and all gamers, like, you think back, I mean, it seems like a long time ago, but it's really not that long ago, where, like, you had specialists for, like, you know, hit scan, and, like, it's so different now. I mean, you have to be able to play just about everything.
Can we get some of these Saudi fans out for the rest of our road shows here?
Right?
The vibes are actually premium. Good stuff, guys. Keep that up. Big fan of it. And again, these Falcon chants are going to be coming in thick and fast. Well, we've got some great games, of course, still around the corner for you today, folks. We're in for a treat. Coming up next, we've got Crazy Raccoon and Varel going head-to-head. Again, that's another first to 2. AL-KADSEA will take on Team CC, a team that had some legends of the past, including one Dia, who is, I don't know what he's been up to. You know, maybe living a normal life. He's been streaming a little bit, you know, over in China since...
Ziad, though?
Oh, man.
He ain't going out like that.
I tell you, no, I mean, I think that AL-KADSEA are to be feared in that particular matchup. And that's consistent with what I'm hearing from a lot of the teams that have had the chance to scrim against them. Look at this, a lens cleaner. Love that, being folded ever so lovingly.
And, yeah, the lens cleaner, the they're kitted out on stage. The keyboard with like no keys.
I've seen how these guys get treated out here in Saudi. They've been furnished with everything that they could ask.
And you see fans from both sides, right? All gamers fans here. I've seen people walking around in Gen G gear for different games. It's really fun to see like how passionate everybody is in the arena.
Yeah, if you're like, I don't know, if you're interested in sort of following along with the club championship at the Esports World Cup, you know that both of these teams are sort of in the top 3 right now, and obviously like high placement across a number of games is kind of required, but Falcons were the club champions last year.
Okay, did you see that's Meligaru's keyboard? And where the WASD is, you can see it here. Actually, his name. That's pretty sweet.
There's no A.
Yeah.
It's been, because he's already got an A. And I guess he would have to get another set of keycaps for the other A.
Right.
So he just got one set of keycaps. I mean, that's fair.
I think you need to hook him up.
You want me to hook him up?
With another set. Yeah,
yeah.
It out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Uber Shouts line of keycaps coming straight to you, folks, don't worry. Okay, Atlis going to be the pick here. So, obviously, one of our newest map coming in a Flashpoint, obviously based on Marrakesh, which I love the vibe of. We got the bands already coming in. Ramatra and Kiriko band. So, both teams actually bringing out Kiriko bands in these first 2.
Which is interesting because like all gamers didn't seem to want to play like a BAP there early on. So like they may have wanted to play like Lucio Kiri, right? And then when the Kiri's gone, their fallback is to Moira, which I think if their fallback is to Moira, right? If you're Falcons, sure, get rid of the Kiri and make them play Moira Lucio. The Ram being gone is interesting. This map, at least early on, right, seems to play a little bit brawly. So curious what we'll see. Maybe we see like a Risa, maybe we see a Maga in the mix, right? We've seen teams in Korea run like the Venture with Maga, right? Combo. Ever since they've both been introduced to the game, that's always been a really good combo, right? The Maga stomp into the Venture burrow and then come out with the amount of damage usually is enough to kill a target.
I do think the Ramatra ban is pretty decisive coming out from AG here. Melgari had to match up against someone in that mirror, but I don't really think the issue for the composition originated from the fact that we had a Ramatra mirror. We obviously pointed fingers at the Moira comp and maybe felt that the way to play it successfully wasn't something that AG were able to tap into. I'm going to try and put it as diplomatically as possible.
Well, when you went on with that long hiatus during stage 2, and I got the cast with the wonderful,
that is absurd.
The wonderful Jake. He did not like these Moira comps. I bet you he's in the green room fuming, watching all gamers come out here playing Moira off the.
I mean, the problem is that is a composition whose failure state is the fight lasts longer than 15 seconds. And again, when you're up against a very good team and a Baptiste who is designed to prolong a fight, that is obviously a problem. I do think like the switch to the Venture to pressure Baptiste is effective because he does not have lateral mobility. So when you see Venture coming at you as Baptiste, you know that even with Exo boots, you can't escape.
You do have the perk where you can dash, right? We did see Fielder end up picking that up.
That is true.
And being able to just get out of the way quite easily. So we'll get right back into game here in just a second as Atlis loading up. I think this is the first time us casting it.
Yep.
I've been gaming it.
Came in on season 17, so we didn't see it featured in the OWCS stage 2 whatsoever. So obviously, I think this first point is pretty brutal to play around. Obviously, Station is that sort of concentric part of the map. Again, I do think that it's no surprise to see these teams try to take Ramatra out. If you're AG.AL, obviously these brawly style setups can look pretty good here.
Points like this traditionally in Overwatch are pretty brutal, right? Like low ground, high ground, where especially like there's hit scans in the meta, whether it be Sojourn, Freya is available here for this map, or even Cassidy, and just being able to rain down on players. It's a brutal scenario. So these types of points always
reminds me of like
painful for some of these teams.
Oasis City Center in some ways, right? Like with that high ground is pretty readily available to you.
The art team always crushes it for these maps, man.
I mean, honestly, Garden also looks fantastic. I really like the look of Station, of course. Bazaar is really good. They're all very distinctive from each other, folks, but it does start over on Station. Sondren here with a Gurkmeister shout out. Big fan of that one, bro. Miss Gurkmeister in MEA.
So let's see. So Falcons could end up playing the Diva. They could also end up pausing. So
there's a problem here. Okay, so the issue is that when we have our bans, normally the way the API has worked in the past is that you can actually select that hero in the lobby. Kiriko is banned. Marka has currently selected Kiriko in Sport.
That doesn't seem like it should be something that happens.
No, you don't want that. That was obviously Falcons' follow-up ban.
I don't work in League Ops, but that would be something I would be a little...
I think that playing the banned hero is to be avoided, if I'm honest with you.
Everybody's scrolling TikTok. They don't even know they're on cam.
That's okay. These guys know they're on cam.
They do. The Falcons fans getting hyped. So this is a team comms issue. So we'll get that one sorted. We'll get right back in the game. And I gotta tell you, you were right. We got to get these Falcons fans out.
Yep.
For all, I mean,
I'm not kidding. The ultras go hard.
Even like through the pauses, it's like, you know what? Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. They remind me of like Optic Gaming fans.
Also,
Gaming fans.
Falcons. Credit to them because they double dip heavily into the Korean fan base, who's also amazing, and the Saudi fan base. So like, it kind of doesn't matter where you go with these guys. There's always going to be chance in the crowd. Obviously, big shout out to those that made the trip out here, and of course to the locals who have shown us some fantastic hospitality.
Oh, the food. I mean, we talked about it on the
I know. Yeah.
Walk.
I mean, sounds scripted, folks, but I meant what I said. I was, thinking about the old, staying off the. The good food out here, but I've been. We went out with Fancy this morning for breakfast.
You do usually say that though every place we go. So I don't know when this diet actually kicks in.
It actually happens in the gaps between the travel, and sometimes they get a little.
When nobody's around. Yeah.
That's it.
That's what they all say.
Tell you what, Fielder here as well, just trying to make sure he can be heard across the rest of his team.
We're getting. Audio all sorted, water all sorted, but I would love to see them try and play ball. That seems like that was going to be like their intent potentially there on Lijiang Tower. So you think about the other Flashpoint in the pool, New Junk City, there's no chance of doing it there, right?
Yes.
I mean, you have limited options to be able to do it.
It feels a little constrained on a map like Atlis, at least on some points anyway.
I think we got Surmajed in the venue doing a coach stream as well. So Jet on Twitter, he's getting the coach team fired up.
He's having a great time. Also, we had a chance to check in with the player lounge in this very venue. I've never seen anything like it, frankly. Players very well looked after out here.
I'd live in the player lounge. I mean, it is. If I was a player, I probably wouldn't make it to the stage. I'd probably just hang out by the iced coffee.
Yeah, there's a lot to do here. Even if you're not gaming. So, to those teams that don't quite make it into the main stage of this mid-season championship, they'll be able to keep themselves busy enough, surely enough. Okay, so Wrecking Ball is the look here for Melgaru. Someone going to be on the Diva. We have Curious here for both sides. Okay.
Potentially the bans are inaccurate because we do see Curie in the game. So,
okay.
Maybe there's an option to veto a ban we didn't hear about.
Okay.
But, no,
that's fine.
It does change things a little bit. Like, the Curie is awesome, the combo with the Wrecking Ball, right?
There's right. It was actually a Symmetra ban for those that are wondering here. So still, obviously, Wrecking Ball pretty good at going after comps with a centerpiece. I think Sojourn is obviously kind of the glue that holds the Falcons comp together. Yeah. So
Falcons ban Sim. Sunjin's play a good amount of it. I think, though, with I would have loved to see them ban the Curie instead, right? Maybe because Ramatra's gone, you're like, we want to play Diva, so you want Curie yourself. But knowing the other team is going to play ball, I feel like they get a much more sizable advantage with the Curie with the ball as opposed to you with the Diva.
Well, yeah, it also gives you the option to take these side fights, alongside your Tracers. Ball's a bit more self-sufficient. Diva to some degree as well can always make use of those health packs and be where she's needed for easy healing. Falcons are gone, though, over towards the Reaper. And there's always like a spectrum you see as teams start to switch their comms to answer a Wrecking Ball. It's like, okay, now they're going for a Brig. Now they're bringing a Sombra in. Now a Cassidy. Falcons are hoping that the Reaper's enough here to sort of stave off the Wrecking Ball, and so far not so bad. They've been able to find Lee Sumin up towards that high ground. Pulse no stick here for Sonjin, but he's been causing problems just the old-fashioned way over much of the course of this game. And now Proper's been able to zero in on the enemy Tracer, and you'll probably see him try and control these flank angles a little bit more with the pulse bomb of his own in hand.
And this ball is going to be tough to get off the point, so you're not going to see the pulse bomb come out there from Proper. You're just going to get hit by a drive-by as they're never able to deal with the ball Venture also causing chaos, as this is going to be all gamers taking that first point.
That's a great look. Someone has to drop to the low ground there to try and fight and contest, and then he heads upstairs, but kind of leaves his backline alone. I think it was Fielder that actually just got blown up by AG.AL, and that's an issue as well when you sort of have your diva away from home, or when she's trying to, you know, taking a more aggressive stance or put pressure on a backline. It can be a little bit hard to protect your own team as you've headed elsewhere.
Well, I for a second thought we were going to get like a pile driver minefield on the rotation here, but it's going to be Maka ends up using the Kitsune Rush. It's going to be a sound barrier here for Chio, and a later Kitsune Rush from Fielder, but he drops.
It's the start that we're looking for here for Team Falcons. Maka and Lijiang already fall by the wayside, and Proper here is starting to heat up just that little bit more. Pulse Bomb still being held onto, not necessary thus far. And Falcons might be showing you a bit of a blueprint here to deal with these Wrecking Ball compositions. They haven't really had to do too much contortionism to find a setup that at least puts them on even footing with it.
It's still really difficult to get the ball out of these fights, and now all gamers, they actually hold on to their sound barrier, so a distinct advantage coming into this fight. You're going to have minefield plus sound barrier, going to be very difficult to take out some of these targets.
Milgaro over the top there. You see the TP comes in from Maka to try and join up with them. Lijiang with a sound barrier, but everyone's kind of split. Oh, okay, knocked up. All right, still. Sound barrier deployed. AG went pretty low, though, before that came in. Sonjin's already lost that overshield now, dropping low himself. A sound barrier here for Merit's found two. AG and Maka fall. But Milgaru's been able to dig up both healers from Falcon's side of things. That's a good sign. However, still more work to be done. Milgaru trying to stay scarce of a lot of this pressure, and the minefield deployed over the point likely means that AG at least should have themselves a flip, something that someone will try and stall off a little longer.
And you have Chio and Proper here, so not out of this just yet. You're going to be able to kind of extend this to possibly 99 here for Falcons. Now someone gets demeched. I think this is probably it.
Someone desuited, but I think Falcons are more than happy with this kind of result, and if they can stay in the fight, they may not even need him later. Proper with a recall. Pulse Bomb still at the ready. Someone, though, was taken down out of mech with nothing but the Bunny Blaster to work with. AG topped up as well. Sonjin trying to stay off the point for the time being, but AG just have to contest in bits and pieces. They've got to make use of the absence here of Falcon's tank, but someone's going to be returning on the Minston. Marcus going to be able to avoid that Pulse Bomb, though. Proper not quite able to find a stick, and now sound barrier here for Falcons. They are back to fight, and they've got a Kitsune Rush to work with as well. Only Lee Sumin left for the healing now for Falcons, and they're looking much improved now, evening up the flashpoints here on Atlis.
It's incredible that All Gamers was not able to flip that. I mean, Falcons, between Proper and Chio, Merit, able to juggle the points. Someone goes over to Winston, which is arguably a signature hero. So we see them tying it up there with a 0.1. But I think that was also one where All Gamers, I mean, look, I don't think they should have won it, right? But you could have at least started to flip it and gain some progress. And then who knows what happens after that.
Kitsune Rush here held onto by Fielder. Not needed in that last fight whatsoever. Milgaru's got to be careful, but you see AG really trying to push with him. And the Tectonic Shock, perfectly timed, is all of them.
Kitsune Rush from Fielder, too.
Yes. Popsicle got blown up instantly. Don't know if there's any value to be extracted from it. You can see it there off in the distance, but Falcons made the choice to move into the choke there and really got punished.
And I thought we were going to get Milgaru's minefield, but now it comes as they're trying to walk out of the spawn here, goes up high, trying to separate some of these players from each other, maybe find a dive target, but really it's just now Falcons rotating around the outside.
Oh, no.
Oh, no TP.
Yep. 6-second cooldown still on that TP. That's a tough pill to swallow for Merit. And so AG.AL already up to 42% on this flashpoint. You see they're going straight for spawn. The disruption Milgaru is reaching. He knows it's going to be very, very hard for Falcons to get their ducks in a row to have a chance to contest this. And now they sit on a Kitsune Rush of their own, sound barrier to combine with it. Deck is stacked in favor of AG.
I think if you're AG, though, you try and get away with one, and that's going to be the Kitsune Rush. And Chio takes out Maka, so that goes for nothing. Lijiang's going to use that sound barrier, come to the high ground, connects with everybody, going to negate really anything happening with that Death Blast.
So Maka makes a risky decision to actually get the Kitsune Rush off, even though he knows he's likely going to die. And AG actually make decent use of it. But they've committed both ults to that's not good at all. Sonjin, I think, caught a drive-by by Milgaru, who might have been stuck. Either way, a double pulse here. Flips the fight very quickly back in Falcon's favor. Proper is back.
That is definitely a pulse bomb that connected onto the Wrecking Ball and just swings himself into the Tracer and gives Proper a 2-for-1 there. with the Pulse Bomb. And, okay, now you take out Proper. This is huge. Primal's probably going to have to be used by someone here at some point.
Yeah, likely just to stall this. Minefield is a bit of a problem. Even a Primal Winston can get blown up quickly by that. Gio here's got a bit of help, but he's having to fight Sonjin. Definitely a more aggressive Lucio player, rather. Pulse here for Sonjin, no connection. Might have been a recall there from Proper, and that is someone has to go for this Primal. Dangerous for Raiders, yep. They're going to be knocked over the edge. Marker has the swift step away, and Falcons still have control at this point now. They know they're going to maintain it, but Fielder's going to be coming back into the fight with a Kitsune rush, and someone's looking for yet another target to harass, to harry down. Someone will be topped up, and Falcons look to be in a position to go 2-1 up now if AG don't have a convincing fight. Look how they go forward with this rush match, perfectly employing it. And AG have to try and regroup, but not quickly enough for Marker to stay alive.
I love the aggression there from Falcons. They kind of rotate around and they catch AG off guard a little bit. As Meligaru's going on a bit of a flank, they actually come forward, they use that Kitsune rush, and they barrel down 2 players, and having that advantage, that's going to allow Falcons to take this point.
Yeah, look, AG do have the mobility, right? But Meligaru's not able to stay alive and stall long enough. It's 2-1 in flashpoints now. Just as AG looked like they got off to a dream start on Atlis, Team Falcons have been able to wrest the game back into their favor.
So it is a Winston swap from someone. The Reaper in play as well. I think the Curie making it through has been huge here for both teams. It's allowed AG to play, obviously, this Wrecking Ball. It's also given Falcons an opportunity to play a little bit faster.
Yeah, give someone, proper someone to play alongside. He's the Death Blossom coming through. Aid gets caught out. Looks like Merritt might have been knocked actually into the rest of that AG lineup. Meligaru not able to displace the Reaper away from the soft underbelly of their composition. The Falcons get the perfect start here on what could be our final flashpoint.
And we'll see with all gamers, right? You're going to have double support ult here. I think if you blow through these and you don't flip it, you are, I mean, there's not much else you can do, right? Maybe you decide to save one, give yourself a second fight opportunity.
Again, notice that Falcons happen to play off the point for the most part. That Soundberry now comes in. This is going to buy Fielder time to get towards this Kitsune Rush, but a little cheeky back cap there from Marker. This is awkward. Kitsune Rush now thrown down as AG get ready to defend the territory they just wrested from Falcons' hands. Rush comes in from Falcons. The orange big road being traversed, but Chio is down already. Fielder made use of his rush now, but it's not panning out as Marker's been able to find yet another kunai elimination. Merritt this time falling. Falcons are going to have to pay the piper and regroup.
I hated that fight from Falcons. I'm going to agree with you. Like using the sound barrier that early on, especially when they were
it starts
playing,
with the back cap.
Yeah,
and for me, that is just...
Okay, yeah, playing for the back cap at that time, they kind of happen around the same time. But then you're just at such a huge support ultimate disadvantage there where all gamers, they're able to flip that pretty early, Mitch, where they're already going to have 70%.
All right, Proper though. Found a bit of damage on Aid. Chio's able to chase it down. Okay, very quickly, Falcons, without having to make use of any of these ultimates outside of just the Primal Rage for sustain of someone, clean that fight up comfortably. Aid caught a little bit out there. Didn't quite have the defensive cooldowns that offered invulnerability frames to avoid the Lucio and Tracer pressure.
So we'll see Falcons push up. They don't have like a Kitsune Rush to work with here, right? So maybe they're seeing if they can catch out like the Lucio, put some pressure onto a Tracer, like force recall here is a lot of pressure here from Proper onto Meligaru's. He's trying to get towards the point.
Proper's Pulse Bomb could end the series, but it's another pick off on Aid. He's just been having some trouble, I think, getting where he needs to be. Fielder really matching Marker in terms of that kill pressure offered by Kiriko. Meligaru again looking to disrupt, but really it's hard to take the eyes off Lee Su-min. That's not great for AG here. They are running out of healers and time as we head into yet another STC overtime, and there's no presence here for AG on the point. The fight is so split, so disparate, and Aid can barely get to the point. Proper spends a Pulse Bomb on forcing out the Wraithwalk, and now, yep, that Shadow Step can only be used to get Aid to the point. He instantly is taken down as Chio comes to collect. Meligaru takes a face full of damage off that Death Blossom, and there you have it, folks, a dream scenario for our defending champions. Falcons start strong in game 1.
And if you were a little bit worried about them coming into this event, that is a great sign to see for a lot of the fans in the crowd. Falcons takes care of business against a bit of a frisky all-gamers team. I think it'll give some teams in this group some trouble.
And again, I think